right.
Woo! Oh,
Hi,
wow.
Don.
Hello.
I'm glad you're doing so
Okay. You
good.
twist that.
I am doing good. I wished I was doing better. I wished I was walking
I'm
without a
having to
stick.
open his beer for him.
But
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
I
saw
know.
saw you walking the other day. You're doing good.
Well, thank you. You all typically. I mean, I think I said this the other day in a video. In my videos, when I'm out doing my adventures, you see everything, good and bad, because I think it's good that people see the bad parts. But in my recovery videos, I don't want to share the bad. It's
Yeah.
it's already bad enough, and
Yeah.
I don't think anybody gets any inspiration from me telling how tough my life is. But apparently, a lot of people like that. Hey, look, a month ago I didn't have a leg. Now I got two. One's fake. And I got a limp, but I'm making progress. And this is so people are kind of
Mm-hmm.
really responding to that in a way I really didn't expect. I expect it because I was going to talk about the recovery stuff, and I was really expecting people to just bail, and now they're bailing because I'm making motorcycle stuff again. So it's kind of interesting, but yeah, I think we got a few people in that are. Typically, I mean, I think I said this the other day in a video. In my videos when I'm out. Sorry, I've got. I need a producer.
Oh, don't we all? Don't we all?
uh, let's catch up on the chats real quick, and then I'll introduce the crew here. Um, Bruce says, I saw the short video, and that was how I finally notified about motor. Yeah, I figured I'm done waiting on YouTube, Bruce. I figured that's what I'll start doing is hoping that people see the short before, because I meant to put something out last night, and I just got covered up. Yesterday was a busy day, and I wanted to make an announcement, but nothing ever works. But apparently the shorts do. If I make a short, go, hey, I'm going to make a short, or we're going to make a live stream tonight, talk to Jim from Old Guy on a Bike. And then that's who we're talking to. And that is, Jim is on the left. That's Jim. Old Guy on a Bike. And that's my buddy Johnny on the right, and that's his wife Betty in the background. And I stayed with them on my way back from the Tat last year. And Betty is a hell of a cook.
Thank you.
Yes, she is.
And I'm not going to say anything nice about Johnny.
You'd spoil me if you did.
Yeah. So has Jim gotten a tour of town yet, or no? Did that happen today, or y'all just working the bike?
I know where the Dollar General is.
Okay. Well, I love your town, Johnny. It's just
Thank you.
it's really
I did a
special.
short tour.
What's that?
Yeah, we was kind of busy driving today. We seen the dollar store a couple times and Harps and the river,
Okay.
but that's all we had time for today.
Well,
We spent most of the day ordering parts,
okay.
so
So,
we found it. And tell them.
well, so I know that we've got some crossover audience. Jim, if you don't know, is from Canada. He's from that big island up there, right? It's an island, Newfoundland, or is it part of the mainland?
The island, yeah, Newfoundland is out in the Atlantic Ocean, 7 hours of ferry from Nova Scotia.
Is it really? Holy crap! I didn't know that.
And
I
that's the
thought I
short
thought it was.
ferry. You can take the longer ferry.
Okay.
You can
Well,
take the 16-hour one, which will get you closer to St. John's, but the shortest route is 7 hours.
well. So Jim is an adventurer like me, and I know that there's a lot of guys that watch both of us, and but I would also like to encourage everybody that doesn't know Jim, go over and check his channel out. He's much more low-keyed, calm, relaxing. That's what I get out of his videos. I, it's not like mine where it's like everything's frenetic, and there's no low key on much of anything that I do. But um, anyway, so the reason I wanted to talk to Jim tonight is that he has had. So he crashed his ST last year, right? And you just put out something on that. So you're kind of behind on all your videos, just like me.
I am quite a bit behind. Now I did finish up the 2022 series.
So you're 2 years
And
behind. That doesn't make me feel bad at
yeah,
all then. Yeah, I'm only
no,
a
don't
year
feel bad.
behind. Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And I haven't really put out a long video on starting out on my trip last year.
Okay.
And of course, I started out on my trip very fatigued, did not get any more rest. And very honestly, I fell asleep for a second and then ended up in the ditch and totaled the ST 1300.
Right. And that was
That
last
was
year.
that was last year.
And you came out completely unscathed, not a scratch on your nose or nothing.
I got a scratch in my leg.
A
That's
scratch
right.
on your leg because you wear good gear.
Yeah.
And you
And
landed in grass, I think, but you hit like a
it was very grassy, very deep grassy gully, and I thought I was going to save it up until the time I hit the traffic sign.
um
Then I knew that was it.
okay.
Yeah.
And then this year, and I didn't even know this till I talked to Johnny. Johnny said you were on your way, but then you were on your way back up to Canada. You blew everything else because you had so many troubles. But he said that you've had 3 crashes, or is that 2 crashes and a get off? What did you call it? You called it something else.
Three. Uh, Technically, I think I've had 3 crashes.
This
Yes,
trip.
this trip.
So you were doing a big loop around. You hit the West Coast first, coming down, and then
I was gonna do a 4 corner. So the intention was part of Canada, northern states, back into Canada in BC, British Columbia, down the Pacific Coast Highway, and then I was going to head uh, east through Texas, Louisiana, touch Florida, and then head north.
okay,
Now, part of that was going into Utah because I wanted to do some of the sites in Utah.
right,
So it was a very, very jagged 4 corners is what was planned.
right,
And I started off 3 days in a really nasty, sudden rainstorm in Maine on a highway that was a road that was just absolutely, totally slippery.
right.
Uh, the bike went out from underneath me.
Yeah, it looked
So
like
that
the
was my
front
first.
washed out. Is that what happened?
It did. It did. I
Just
was coming starting down a hill. I was planning to turn into the garage at the bottom of the hill,
okay.
and I just barely touched the front brakes, and it just slid right out from underneath me. So the bike went down on its side. The trailer actually flipped on its side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a horrific looking crash. Even though you weren't doing what 40 maybe, or what is that
Uh,
70 in kilometers?
I was probably doing closer to about 30 miles an hour, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
And the funniest thing was all of the water that the trailer pushed down over me. It really was like I had been in a bathtub.
Wow.
Uh, but that hill, it turns out that a lot of trucks they downshift on that hill and leave transmission fluid right
Ah,
where I was
that
driving.
makes a lot of sense. And it looked like there
So
was a lot of water on the road too. So you're probably
yeah,
your wheel was a little
it
bit
was
high.
it was really sudden. And but the whole thing with that one is we had the bike over the side of the road, the trailer upright, and the hook back up to the bike. Um, and I was back on the road in half an hour.
That's
Now I
crazy.
did break one. I broke one camera,
Yep.
uh, and my jacket got ripped up pretty bad, but
Right.
it did its job.
Did its
It did its
job.
job totally,
Yeah.
and I didn't feel bad about that. It's like uh, actually the guy who first helped pick up the bike said he's had cars slide out on that same hill, same
Wow.
thing.
That's crazy.
So I didn't feel too bad.
Yep.
Half an hour later, I was totally dry because it was sunny,
Right.
and so that was 3 days into the trip. I've been out on the road 90 days now. Uh, Went across Ontario into Manitoba, Saskatchewan, then down to North Dakota, South Dakota. Lots and lots of great roads. Certainly did like Needles Highway and stuff. I was a week before Sturgis deliberately. Uh,
Ah. Okay. You slipped in and slipped out.
Yes, I
You
did.
sound like the same sneaky bastard that I know as myself. Like I don't want anything to do with that crowd. Well, I went there coming back last time, and because I had friends there, and I was like, I'll slip in, slip out. Managed going downtown, but yeah, I'm the same way, man. It's just way too many bikes. Yeah. So
So
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was like, that's just funny. I didn't know anybody else was averse to large rallies like me.
Oh no, I am.
Yeah.
I went up to I went and did the Beartooth Pass,
Nice.
um, and I just about dropped the bike there.
What happened?
Well, it turns out that all the overlooks, I think, on the Wyoming side are gravel, and all the ones on the Montana side are paved.
Yeah.
So I was going through the paved ones
Uh
first,
huh. Uh huh.
and I saw this one lookout that went, "Oh, I should stop there and take a picture." And I pulled off, and it was like 3 inches of pea gravel.
Of course.
And of course, I'm
Because, well,
800.
let me stop you. Because people that don't watch your channel don't know what you're riding. So you replaced your ST 1300 with a much bigger 6-cylinder Goldwing. It's a beautiful bike, but what is that, 94, 98?
94.
94, and it's been sitting in the garage since 94, it looks like.
The guy had been putting about 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers on every year.
Oh,
So
really? Okay.
it had
Wow.
been used, So,
Yeah.
so that was one of the reasons why I picked it. But it is, it's 100 pounds heavier than the ST,
Right.
but the center of gravity is lower.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
geared lower, so it pulls the trailer much better. It's really good with the trailer.
Yeah, so
But
that's the other part. That's the other thing I was going to mention. Jim rides this huge car with 2 wheels, and he's also pulling gear and his Mini Mate pop-up trailer, right? Is that it's Mini Mate, right?
it's the Mini Mate, yes.
And is pop-up trailer, is that an accurate way
It's
to
a
describe
pop-up
it?
tent trailer, yeah.
Okay, so like the pop-ups that everybody knows in the campgrounds, maybe you grew up with one. Jim's pulling one with his motorcycle, and you could do that. I mean, there's a lot of people that pull those Mini Mates. So, and he's almost talked me into getting one because I ride with my Mini Mate on top of the motorcycle, which makes it really top heavy. And anyway, but yeah, I'm trying to paint the picture for the people that don't know you and haven't watched you yet.
So
And then
here
and then what? How old are you, Jim?
71 going on 40.
So, and you're relatively fit, but still pulling into pea gravel with a 800 pound, 850,
800 pounds.
800 pounds, and then you're pulling what? Almost 200?
450 pounds on the back at least.
Wow. Yeah.
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 And of course, is the overlook flat? No.
No.
It's slightly going uphill.
Sure.
And even as I come to a stop, I can feel the front tire, digging a little bit of a groove. And I tried to get going again, and of course, all I'm doing is digging a hole.
Of course.
And at that point, it's like I just knew I was going to drop it. Knew I was going to drop it. Knew I was going to drop it. One more time, lots of gas, and I think actually I had it in second gear, not in first. And pulled out, and there was no way I was stopping in another overlook at all.
I hear
No
that.
way. But so got through that. Went through Yellowstone.
Okay.
Over to Montana. I went to As the Magpie Flies rally.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I knew you went to Z's rally. That looked kind of interesting.
Yeah.
How was that? That's where Johnny and I met each other at one of her rallies in Oklahoma.
Yeah. Well, this was the one out in Oregon. So that was after I got out to. I went back into Canada to BC. Toad Rock Motorcycle Campground, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Did the highway 99 down through Whistler to Vancouver.
Okay.
Again, awesome ride. I had brake fade actually on that ride because it was so steep and so curvy.
Oh wow.
But So I was over to Vancouver Island for a little bit, and I
Right.
was going to head down to Washington State by way of the ferry.
Right.
And on the way to the ferry, spent 5 hours on some back roads in BC, and 10 minutes away from the ferry, uh, I ended up hitting the brakes a little too fast and went down. That was in some ways my worst drop over or crash.
Right. Right.
Didn't really consider it a crash because I was almost at 0 miles per hour when
Right.
I fell over.
I would call that a
Uh,
tip over or a drop or something. What did you
yeah,
call that something else?
uh, I'd call it a tip over.
Yeah.
Uh, but this is one of the weirdest things is I remember falling over, and the next thing I knew, I was sitting in the back of an ambulance.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Well, you got to go to the
So
hospital. Look at you got that gray hair all over you, and you got to go to the hospital. You got.
yeah,
You might have broken your hip, Jim.
oh yeah. Well, they gave me some blood tests to see if I'd had a heart attack, and that had made me drop the bike.
That's
I did get a CAT scan, and the only thing I think of is there was a dot in the center of my forehead, and I think
ah.
I hit one of the handlebars on the way down.
Oh wow.
Uh, but I was certainly disoriented for uh, like I was out for probably about a minute, and I was disoriented for about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Uh, but they took good care of me, and luckily the tow company that picked up the bike and the trailer did a really good job.
Yeah, you said something about they gingerly uh, escorted your bike to the tow yard or something like that. Well, how did you say that?
Well, they treated it really well. Like
Okay.
they
Better
I've
than
got
you've
a
been
guy.
treating it.
Yeah, much better, much better. There's I've got a lock on the trailer coupler,
Uh-huh.
and of course they couldn't find the keys
Ah,
because they were on me in the ambulance.
right.
So the driver, very wisely, he took the two bolts out of the coupler, and the coupler stayed on the bike, and
Ah,
the tongue had no coupler on it. So it was, very good doing that.
yeah, yeah.
So I picked that up the following Monday, 2 days later, and everything was a-okay. And I picked it up in the morning, and I was on the ferry to Washington State that night. And 2 days later, I was at Z's Vagabonds Rally in Oregon.
What did you think of Z's rally?
I had a good time.
Yeah,
I was there for 4 days. We did certainly got a chance to talk to a lot of people.
right.
Some people I consider myself, you know, I'm out on the road for 3 months of the year now,
Yep.
and I think that's pretty good.
Yep.
But of course, some of these people are out on the road
All the time.
all the time,
Yep.
all the time. Uh, so it was interesting talking to them.
Well, I think it's a very diverse group because it consists of guys like you, guys like me, a few months out of the year, and then you got guys that have got 2 weeks off because they
Yep.
want to come find out from the guys that are doing it full time how to do it. I want to do this full time, and I think it's a great place to meet that diverse group of people. It's a whole mixture of people, like you said. I would say what the folks that show up to the rally, I would say maybe 10-15% are full timers, and then the rest of them are some kind of mixture in between. That make a few trips a year, and then guys that try to go out all summer. Um,
Yep.
yeah, I wished I could. I wished I could figure out how to do it full time. The only way I can figure out is Mexico or South America, or I don't know how to do it. And then it becomes funding. Who's going to pay for this? Who is going to come to my rescue and pay for my round the world trip? Itchy Boots. How is she funding that? I guess it's YouTube now, but yeah, that would.
No, she's doing okay.
Yeah,
But
she's doing fine.
we've got to change ourselves into 30-year-old women.
If I could figure out how to do that, is it not enough for me to just identify as a hot, sexy Dutch girl? Is
That almost works. Almost. Yeah.
Shave this beard and you'll never know I'm not a Dutch hottie. Well, continue. So you hit
Uh,
Z's rally, and then you're heading
then
south.
headed south, and unfortunately, I had a mishap. Uh, I stopped to see a subscriber, and we were moving my trailer around in his driveway, and I got knocked over,
Ah,
and I went flat on my back, and I really did a number on my back. All the
wow.
muscles just went totally tense.
Now wait a minute. You were
And
moving with your hands the trailer.
I had to hold the tongue, and it's getting a little bit of help moving it, pushing it. It was not connected to the bike.
So this is not a
And
motorcycle injury.
it's not a
This is a
motorcycle.
moving injury.
It's a moving injury.
What
Went
is this
flat down.
uphill? I'm trying to picture the guy that deals with the trailer for 3 months out of the year, pulling behind a motorcycle. I'm trying to paint the picture for us and describe how you did a ass over tea kettle moving your trailer with the help of someone else. Just describe that for me.
Well, it's like I'm moving at 1 mile per hour, and he was moving at 2.
Ah, okay.
So
He's
I
one of
was
those. He's
moving,
one of those whippersnappers.
uh, yeah, a little bit, but it's just I couldn't get my feet out from under me. So I
Yep.
went down, kept the tongue from crushing myself.
Ah,
Uh, but I just went down hard.
so it was almost like a runaway trailer.
Not even that. It's like, okay, consider yourself walking backwards carrying a case of beer,
Yep.
and you trip over
Oh
something,
yeah, no,
and you
you
don't
got
want to
it.
drop the beer.
You,
Yeah,
you sold it to me. Now I understand.
yeah. But that really, really hurt my back. So
Yep.
then going down the Pacific Coast Highway, and if anyone has done that, you know that
Magnificent.
it is twistier than the tail of the dragon. The
Mm.
corners are tighter, more consistent, and there are more campers in each of those corners. So
Oh yeah, yeah,
it's really a hard ride.
yeah.
So did that for a couple days. Visited a friend in San Francisco just so I could cross San Francisco Bridge and
Sure,
take the video.
sure.
Of
And
course, it was
get charged
foggy.
like $30, right?
No, well, I don't
You'll
know if
get
they did.
no, you'll get the thing in the mail that's got a picture of your tag and says, yeah, you owe us $30. That's the surprise you should be waiting on.
Oh, good. I'm hardly waiting for that.
It's
And
great. It's great. It's like, oh, San Francisco was great. Oh, screw you, San Francisco.
it was foggy, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So so did that, and then went down to Los Angeles to visit a friend there. And she and I went out to Joshua Tree.
Ah, that's
Now
nice.
it was hot. I mean, it
Yeah, yeah.
was really hot. Now we
Summer.
did go camping in oh shoot, I can't remember the small town we went camping in, but it was lots of trees, very comfortable
Palm
camping.
Springs
No,
or
not quite.
uh,
A small, sort of hippie town. Uh, can't remember what the heck the name is.
is
Off
it
the top of my head.
tiny?
Relatively tiny, but they got a bit of a music festival each summer.
Oh yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Is it in the desert there?
Well, above the desert, it was still about an hour away from Joshua Tree.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That
But
must be north, I guess.
yeah. So anyway, my back is still absolutely killing me,
Yep.
and so when I leave LA, I was planning on doing a short day as I started heading east. And for some reason, my GPS decided that it was going to take me the most scenic route. So I ended up doing the Los Angeles Crest Highway.
Ah, okay.
Awesome ride.
Yeah.
But instead of being a 2 hour ride to where I was going that night, it was
Huh.
a 5 hour ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so here I am. I'm beat and I'm tired. And I'm trying to remember if it was the next day or the day after. Well, I'd just gotten into Utah, so I'd gone through Las Vegas,
Yep.
I'd already cut out some places I was going to see because of the because of I was knowing I was getting a little tight on time. So um, I decided I was going to do a hotel for a couple of nights because the back was acting up, and it was at sun just about sunset, low sunset. Uh, just got into the city that I was going to, and I keep forgetting its name because it's blocking that out. Um, and of course, I'm behind another car, red light ahead of us, and the sun in both our eyes.
Ah.
So they put on their brakes a little too fast. I was a little slow in reacting, and I hit the car. Uh, and I went down. Now, this is the first time that I've trapped a foot underneath
Ah.
after my rear guards.
Right.
So I'm lying there, and it hurts. Uh, I actually slid my foot out of my boot before I could move.
Ugh.
EMTs were there real fast. Cops were there,
Right.
and the EMTs are asking me, how do you feel, etc. I said, like, I didn't hit my head. I hardly hit my shoulder, but it's just my foot. And they said, well, can you get up? I said, I can get up. It's going to look awkward because my back hurts so much, and it's got nothing to do with my
Right.
foot or the accident.
Right.
Um, so got up, and the hotel was only around the corner, so I refused treatment.
Good.
Um,
The last one
and
took a lot of time and
so I refused treatment and went to the hotel. And of course, I'm hearing a few noises from the front fender of the bike, etc.
uh-huh.
I get there. I spent 2 days just trying to get to the point where I could get back on the road.
Oh wow.
And I really didn't inspect the bike well enough.
Right.
And I will admit that right now.
Right.
So I get on the bike the next day, and I know there's something wrong 15 minutes into riding. And I pull over I pulled over, and yeah, my front tire is going flat.
Oh, not good.
There's definitely a little bit of rubbing,
Right.
and I get as far as Cedar City
Okay.
and do find a hotel right beside the Honda shop.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
And but they have nothing in stock. They can't do anything for you except
And
bless you.
They won't touch a 94
Of course they won't.
Goldwing.
They have no idea how it was built. It's all a mystery to them.
Yep.
Just like the '94 Harley. Nobody wants to touch that either.
Nope.
Johnny, what year is your bike? What year is your Harley? It's what?
2007. 2007.
Are they still working on that or no? Well, you wouldn't let them touch it anyway, so.
Well,
No, let's say you came in there with a broken arm and you couldn't. Would half the dealerships, would they even look at it, or would they go, I can't help you, go down here to the chop shop?
I don't know. They worked on it 4 years ago.
Okay.
Cost me $650, and I still had to fix it at home myself.
Well, I figured that was going to be the answer as soon as I asked you the question. I was like, Johnny works on his own stuff. He's not going to let anybody else touch it unless it's just a pain in the butt or if you're on the road. But yeah.
Out of town and had tire wear out, and I did let them put a set of tires on it.
Oh yeah.
Once
Yeah.
in a few years back.
Worth every penny.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
sure was.
Well, let me take a look at the chats and see if who's got questions, because I know there's probably going to be a few. And if you haven't asked your question, now's a really good time to pop your question in for Jim or Johnny. Johnny's a traveler too. Johnny, you're more like a 2-week guy. What's your longest trip?
Coke, Alaska.
Well, never mind. Because that took you more. That took you more than a couple of weeks. We hadn't talked about Alaska. I don't remember talking about that at least.
No, my old Harley's been coast to to Tokalaska.
Well, Betty's a lot nicer to you than I realized. I thought she was just a really good cook and a nice lady, but if she lets you be gone for that long, then she's a lot nicer than I figured.
Yeah, I am lucky to have her.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Gary's in his arc. What's up, y'all? What's up, Richard? Ride on 69. What's up, Bigfoot? Nobody calls me Bigfoot. I'm a giant. Or are you talking to somebody else? I don't know. Dave's Crazy Trailer. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope Jim gets home before the snow thaws. So I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. Jim is in need of transportation funds. He set up a coffee account. I call it coffee, but it's basically funds. I bet he's not going to buy a lot of coffee with the funds. He's probably going to put gas in his tank and whatever the hell else he needs. But he's overextended his stay. He's ran long on his budget, and he needs some help getting home. That's why we're doing the stream, because I wanted him to tell the story and maybe entertain you guys. And then we're going to talk about some topics about what he's learned and all that stuff. But I've got a link down below to not only his channel that you need to go check out. If you're not subscribed, I recommend it. And also, I have a link to his coffee account, which you can buy coffee. I think it's $5 increments. You can buy him, I threw him some money yesterday. If you're flush, throw him some money. Don't make it hurt, but, throw him some money, put some gas in his, because he makes great videos and he doesn't get paid. He doesn't make money off of his videos, just like I do. And if he does, he's probably making about the same as I am. He's making about $20 a month for all the effort. Thanks YouTube. But, it would be nice if you enjoy his videos already, or if you haven't had a chance to enjoy them, go check out his channel, hit the subscribe button, and throw him some cash to help him get back to Newfoundland. It's a 30-hour ferry ride once you get into Canada, right? That's what you said. 34, is it 40 hours?
7 hours ferry ride, but I've got between 45 and 60 hours of riding to get there.
There you go. And you're riding slow because you're injured. You're all beat up. He's riding with a broken hip, folks.
No, I appreciate any help, but
yeah.
But really, it's right now, nickels and dimes are enough to help.
There you go. If you got $5, if you got $20, if you got $50, help the guy out. You guys have been fantastic.
The stay in Cedar City was a little long because I had to get a used rim off eBay shipped in, and of course they first said, "Oh, it'll get there in 5 days," and of course as soon as they shipped it, it then became 10 days.
Oops.
Yep. So the motel, the Honda shop would change the tire, no problem.
Right. But not on a ding rim.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't have put a new tire on that ding rim anyway.
That's the difference between me and you, Jim. I put 15,000 miles on that ding rim I've got on the RT, and now after my accident, I'm like, that's stupid. Why did I do that? Because it only takes just a little bit of whatever. A sleeping bag will take your leg off, apparently. So yeah, I'm much more cautious now. So the RT's up for sale. And if you want it, I would recommend you getting a new rim because it leaks. It's a slow leak. It'd take you a week to. I'm guessing yours is 24 hours before yours goes down, right? Or.
Well, we're fine now.
Yeah, because you got a new rim or a replacement.
A new to me rim, but of course I had to take the rotors off the old rim, put it on that. Ran into one rotor bolt that would not come off, so I had to spend $40 on a grinder because I couldn't borrow a grinder.
Right. Harbor Freight?
And, no, that was Ace Hardware.
Really?
Better price than Harbor.
Really?
But Harbor Freight, I did buy a scissor jack because I had to support the bike a little bit to get it up in the air just enough to get the front wheel off.
That you left in Cedar City?
No. Of
You took
course
you
not.
now wait a minute. You took your scissor jack with you?
And the grinder.
That's right. I forgot. You've got the
I've got
800-pound
two.
capacity trailer back there that you can fill with
Yeah.
whatever. There's a stripper pole back there. There's a portable. There's a kit.
Don't
There's
go
a.
saying that. The girlfriend would be upset if she found that
Okay, well,
out.
we won't talk about that then.
But so of course, when the tire came in, it was no problem changing that out. Except I went to go take a test drive, and it's like suddenly I find out that my fender is all messed up. So I had to do some work on the fender.
Hang on, Jim. Hang on a second. I'm getting some complaints about audio. Has Jim changed his current plan route? Jim, is your repairable? Let me turn the audio up. I'm afraid talk, Jim.
Okay, as far as the bike being repairable, yes, just need parts.
Okay.
But so I was 2 days longer getting out of Cedar City than I thought once the tire came in.
And
Still
hotels
hurting.
aren't cheap, and neither is a Honda dealer.
No.
And you're retired, kinda. You still work some,
I'm-
but you're not
I'm
rich.
still working a little bit, but certainly blew the budget all to hell.
Right.
And I leave Cedar City, and I'm going through canyons, and I'm feeling this every once in a while. I'm feeling this little bit of a tug, and I'm wondering what's going on. And somewhere along there, I had heard this awful bang, and I wasn't sure what that was.
That's not good.
I pulled over the side of the road, and I could see my rear tire was smoking.
That's not good, Jim.
It's not good. It's not good. What I hadn't realized is when I hit the car, the whole hitch had just shifted by about a quarter of an inch or an eighth of an inch, and right in the center of the tire, it was acting. It was just touching the tire when the tire got hot and totally inflated.
Okay.
So I laid in a rest area in Utah.
Yeah.
In the noontime sun.
Yeah, it's not warm that time of year.
Oh, yeah, right. On my back, rearranging the hitch enough to get clearance. And I discovered at the same time that I've got a puddle of hydraulic fluid under the rear tire.
Wow.
And of course, I touched the rear brake, and it just goes squish. Nothing to it.
Not good.
Of course, I can't see it. Honda Goldwing's got so much damn plastic and the saddlebags and everything else. Can't see what's going on. But I'm leaking fluid.
Right.
So I limp into the next town.
Because you've got a reservoir up here. You just don't have one in the back. So you're all out of fluid.
I've got front brakes, but no rear brakes. Now there was still fluid in the back reservoir.
Right.
But I'm still not sure what was going to happen.
Right.
So Johnny had offered me a place to stay and work on the bike, and it's like, okay, that makes sense to me. Instead of trying to repair it somewhere in Utah where I've got no resources, and it's going to cost me an arm and a leg.
Right.
So for 3 days, I rode with no rear brake, just the front brake, and a lot of engine braking and a lot of planning ahead of my slowing down.
Yeah.
I would not advise anyone to ever do that.
But when you're desperate.
And that's where we're getting.
Yeah.
So got here, and of course, we got to start working on the bike, and had to take the saddlebag off. Well, when I took everything out of the saddlebag, I could see through the saddlebag to my rear rotor. It's like whatever hit the bike took out. It took out the brake hose, and it caved in the saddlebag.
Well, what do you think hit it? So you hit the car.
This was something this was when I left Cedar City, going through the canyons, and I do remember hearing this big bang and knock.
Okay.
I don't remember seeing anything on the road that I could have missed or anything, so I'm not sure what hit it. But something was on the road, and it came up in between the saddlebag and the wheel, and it literally cut the brake hose right off.
Oh wow.
Where is
It was definitely something heavy, metallic maybe. That doesn't sound like a rock to me.
I don't think it was a rock.
Yeah.
But I don't remember seeing anything. Now, when I go through my videos, I might be able to find it.
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
So we'll see what happens there. But so that was a bit of a surprise to find how bad the saddlebag was. And
move that over. Let's see. Move it over so we can see it, John. There we go. Now, what is that? Is that the brake line?
That's brake line. That is a Honda has it listed brand new as about $21, but
right.
Honda no longer stock or make it.
Of course.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it rubber or is it something else?
Yeah. Well, that's a rubber brake line.
It's a rubber, hydraulic line with a banjo bolt on it.
Ah, okay.
And of course, we're trying to find a new one or used one.
Can't you adapt it? Can't you put some kind of a banjo bolt on the end of and just strap it down?
It's really not advisable, but we were really lucky to find.
Well, you're not from Alabama, Jim. That's how we do things around here. We got duct tape, we got hammers, and we got duct tape. We can fix anything in Alabama. Maybe you should have come over here, Jim.
Yeah. But anyway, we found this place, Beachy's Motorsports, in Plain City, Ohio, headed on eBay, a used one for like $12.
Okay.
Now, getting it here overnight, I'm not going to tell you what it's costing us.
$140.
How'd you know?
More.
But anyway,
wow.
Doreen over there was really, really good about getting it packaged up and over to FedEx and getting it on its way.
Right.
Like they made no money off it. The only people making money are the people shipping it.
Sure.
So tomorrow, that'll get here sometime tomorrow. We'll put that on tomorrow. We're going to fiberglass the saddlebag and put it back on.
Oh man, I hope you're going to record some of that, Jim. I don't remember you fixing anything on the road. I don't think I've seen you fix anything on the road. Maybe I missed that video, but I think
you missed that video. You missed me jury rigging the hitch on the old ST-1300.
Oh, I totally missed that.
I jury rigged that with hose clamps and angle brackets, and oh my god,
that's the stuff I love. Like, I don't watch Itchy Boots much because it kind of seems like the same stuff. But her last video where she's talking about the engineering of her bike, it's not so much her talking; it's the guy that built her next bike. I just love that stuff. It's like, oh, I did this, and this is crap, so I took this off and I put this here, and she basically made the perfect bike, and I just love that stuff. So if you spend any time, make Johnny do all the work, and you just film. Just you sit there, film, and bark orders at Johnny, and make him do all the work.
Well, taking all the saddlebag off and everything, I did the work, and Johnny ran a video on the laptop.
Oh, good.
And told me which bolts to take off.
Good.
So it worked.
Yeah.
But we'll definitely be doing some more video on that for sure.
Yeah.
So it's going to take what's today, Monday. At the earliest, I might be able to leave Wednesday. I suspect it's going to be Thursday by the time we get all the stuff done.
Well, I was gonna do some preaching and go, man, you need to slow down. You need to, and tell you just enjoy it and just relax. And then I realized that it's October and it starts snowing up in your neck of the woods and motorcycles and snow. I think it's supposed to be like 40 in North Carolina, so that's north of you, right? You're going northeast. Yep. So what's your worst case scenario? You're sliding into home in what, a week and a half?
I figure 10 days of riding
10 days, yeah.
because the days are getting shorter, they're getting colder.
Right.
So I will be riding. I'll be riding 5 hours a day, 6 at the most.
Right.
So it works out to it probably take me about 10 days to get there. Now
Yeah.
I've ridden onto the island later than that, but I did have some snow. But that's the push right now, and of course, it means I won't be camping as much because partially because of the cold, but also a lot of the campgrounds are going to be closed once I get into the more northern states and in Canada. Campgrounds are harder to find.
Nobody's dumb enough to be riding around exploring and adventuring this time of year, Jim. At least that far north, right? Everybody else has got sense. They've already gone home. They've already gone back to work and school and all that. So everybody else has got it all figured out, and you're the one that's kind of stuck holding
Now,
back.
luckily, I do have places to stay on most of the northern corridor. Once I get to New York State and past, I've got places to stay most nights, so that's not a big issue. But the adventure part about this is just having the extra hotels at a point where I didn't really need them.
Right.
So those are the things. When you're on a pension and those few pennies from YouTube, cash flow is bad.
Oh yeah.
But and some people, I've had a lot of people remarking with the number of times I've dropped the bike. It's all been different circumstances.
Right.
Nothing has been the same. It's not. So I don't feel bad about it. I'm not ready to give up as much as I do get the recommendation. Well, you should get a trike or you should get a spider. And it's like, if I get anything, it's going to be a Ural with a sidecar so I can be old and eccentric instead of just old.
I love that. I love that's that weird old guy that's riding around in a weird motorcycle that looks like it's from the 40s. That I could deal with that part. It's everything else is like, I gotta spend $80,000 on a car with 3 wheels. Nah, that's not. You're not gonna say. And everybody's gonna go. No, you can get a R7 Super Striker Riking Decker Ride. You can get that for $22,000. I'm like, nah. I can get a used Miata for $6,000, and I can put the top down and go.
I can buy another used Goldwing the same age as mine for $4,000.
Right.
And that's Canadian, so that's $3,200 American. And this bike, like I must admit, this bike is really growing on me.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. It's great on the highway. It does handle really, really well, except when you're doing really slow. That's when I feel it. Yeah. Now, I'm still strong enough to hold it up, but cripes, 800 pounds, once it goes to a certain angle, there's nothing, you can't hold that up. If you try to, you're going to hurt yourself.
Well, and when you get to our age, Jim, it starts to get to be, even if you're riding a scooter, if you're fighting that momentum of a big, heavy bike, and that could be a 500-pound bike. It doesn't have to be an 800-pound bike. When you start doing that, that may have been hurt your back is you're fighting that stuff. And what you should do is go, man, there's engine guards, there's all kinds of crap. Has your bike got a scratch on it besides the actual impact of the car? To me, that's like,
not really.
Get off the bike, run away. That's what I would do.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's hard. It's hard because we grew up not wanting to scratch our bikes, right? You got that brand new bike and you don't want to scratch it because it's brand new and you're going to do everything you can to keep it upright. But now it's like, nah, just get out from under it.
Yep.
Learn from my mistake, sticking my leg under it.
But I certainly don't feel ready to give up riding. That's not going to happen. I'm disappointed that I'm not doing the full ride I wanted to do this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not seeing places that I want to see this year. But that just means maybe in a year or 2 years that I come back and go to those. But I'm not. I know it's going to be some days on the way back are going to be a slog. I'm going to run into some rainy time, some cold time. but it's well, it's part of the adventure. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
adventure happens when the unexpected
Right.
happens.
When
As
you
long as
start when you
talk
start
about
dragging gold wing parts down the road behind you, that's when adventure starts.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've now got a few pieces of gold wing plastic that are now traveling in the trailer. I'm not going to
Yeah.
put them back on until later on this winter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're cosmetic. They don't have to be on there.
Well, the craziest
Uh,
thing was that video that you saw. You posted the clip of you crashing in the rain.
yeah.
Number one, the frame the frame that I took off your video for the thumbnail of the live stream. I see your freaking foot on the ground. Do you remember putting your foot down?
No, I don't.
You never do, but it's kind of like
No.
it's like a reaction. But if that's not your foot, I don't know what it is. But that terrifies me because I don't want my foot ever to be up under a motorcycle ever
No.
again. But the other thing is, holy crap, your bike slid down the road with maybe you under it. I'm thinking maybe your body protected your brand new Gold Wing, and then your trailer took the brunt of the damage. There was no damage to your Gold Wing, right?
No damage to the gold wing. No.
Yeah.
No.
And you
I,
screwed
like
up your
I
jacket.
I was sitting on my I went down, hit my shoulder, ripped the jacket up, and before we stopped, I was sitting up with my back to the trailer, still sliding the last 5 feet, and watching the water slosh over me.
Right. Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
No, but it, it's one of those things where, okay, you always try to you've got to decide when it might be the time to hang it up,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, no, not yet,
Right.
not yet.
Yeah. You got to be punished
I
a little
will-
bit more, huh?
I'll take a bit more punishment, but I will tell you, it made me think, and your accident made me think as well. I think at some point soon I will do what I call a dead man's video.
Ha ha! I've already made mine. I'm about ready to make my next one.
Okay,
Yeah.
But
Where did you get that name?
I don't know where I got it.
I
know.
call it a dead man switch. I've already made the video, and I made it a few months before I left on that last adventure. And it's so funny. As soon as it came out of your mouth, I was like, "Oh my God, somebody else has thought of this too." It's
Yep.
basically. I'm gonna give you my description of it and see, and then I want you to get. Well, why don't you give your description first, and I'll give mine. What is
Well,
it?
mine would be basically, if talking about, okay, if you haven't seen a video from me for a while, the reason is because I am probably either dead or incapacitated or in a coma, and no one's got access to my channel. So
Yep.
thanks for all the views. It's been great, but it's over.
Right.
And what I would do is put it on YouTube and have it posted for publishing in 3 months' time.
That's
so going
exactly.
on a long trip for 4 months' time.
Right.
And then you just have to remember to repost the time.
Absolutely.
On it.
That is so funny. You came up with the same idea I did. I call it a dead man switch because, dead man switch with dead man. He's holding the switch. When he dies, he lets go of the switch, which is basically the schedule. It's scheduled in advance. I had to move mine up a month because I was planning on making an updated video because I went back and watched it. It's like, I want to say more than that. I'm going to make a playlist. I'm going to make a dead man switch video every year. I want to make 20 more videos. That's what I want to do.
Yep.
I want to make 20 more videos and go, here's what I was thinking when I was a youngster, when I was almost 60. Here's, I'm 63. I'm 60. That would bring me joy to have it in a playlist where people can go back. Wait a minute. Let's go back to the start and see where he started this idea of, I'm dead. Hey, it's Don, the Moto Giant. I'm dead. And here's what I was thinking before I died. And mine is more of a motivational thing. It's like, do it now. Because that's kind of way that I changed my life almost a decade ago. Because I'm like, man, I'm working for the money. I'm working for the big house, the boat, the cars, all this crap. And it doesn't mean anything if you don't have the experience. And That's why I was like, yeah, screw it, man. I can live on a lot less money and have a lot more time. And now we're all running out of time,
Yes.
but we're all. How do you figure out what do you do with your time? What do you, I'm trying to talk to the guys that are in their 30s and 40s, and going, man,
Yeah.
what are you doing? What are you doing? You're wasting your time. Especially, it's like, man, if somebody would have came to me when I was in my 30s and gone, Don, money's not that important. Stop working your ass off. Stop beating, stop killing yourself. Go out and have some fun. And I really wasn't. I did not have fun when I was in my 30s and 40s. And it's the biggest regret I have. So,
Been there.
Anyway, I interrupted you. You came up with the Dead Man video. Continue, please.
And it's one of those things, you can add some profound thoughts to it, and the fact that if something has happened to me, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like I've had a pretty good life. I'm all right, and I'm going to continue doing that until the Dead Man video ends up being published.
Yeah.
But
how far up is your video?
Well, I haven't made it yet, but when I do, like this is what those long thoughts going across the desert, going across the Oklahoma panhandle.
Hang on one second. Keep talking. I just can't hear you.
But going across the Oklahoma panhandle with absolutely no rear brake, and knowing that I've got to be extra careful in planning my stopping. You start thinking about all of these possibilities, and I'm not going to be afraid of the possibilities. It's just you've got to realize that every time we get out there on a motorcycle, or we just step out our door, it could be the last time.
Life is fragile. That's what I keep saying. Life is short. Our bodies are very fragile, and you never know. You don't know exactly what you said when you walk out the door. You don't know. You step out the door and you get hit by a bus, Yeah.
And the older I get, the older I want to get, but I want to be living while I'm getting older.
Yeah. Do you want to be pushing yourself in a wheelchair in 20 years? No. Yeah.
No.
That's me. I don't want to do that.
No.
So I'm trying to juice the lemon as much as I can right now. I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link to my video. Maybe you'll get some ideas. I don't know. It was something that I wanted to do, but it's also, I got closing on 13,000 subscribers. I don't know that everybody's going to be, where the hell is Don? What happened to Moto Giant? But the few people that are going, damn, I ain't seen a video from him in years. Let me go check out his channel, or something popped up. It's like, oh, I ain't seen a video from him in months. Oh, shit. He must be dead. He's saying, I must be dead. So, and you look at the videos and you go back in the timeline. It's like, okay, this video, and then 3 months back, that was his last video. And this sucker puts out videos all the time. So I guess he's dead. Well, that's my goodbye.
If I don't put something out in about 3 weeks, I get at least a half a dozen emails from subscribers who want to know what's going on. You okay?
Yeah.
And that's great. And it's a better community than sometimes we think of, because we're on one side of the camera, or we're just posting stuff, and of course we're responding to comments.
Right.
A lot of people don't comment, but they're really loyal followers and viewers.
That's the shocking thing. That shocks me. People that have been watching me for years, and I've never heard from them, or I'll meet them in person. Don, I've been watching you since you did such and what. Like, are you freaking kidding me? What's your name on YouTube? Oh, I never comment. What? What are you? What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You know all my videos, but you never comment. What is going on? To me, I don't understand it. But that's the great thing about YouTube. I hate how YouTube manages some of their stuff, but it's a great platform, and the viewers are fantastic, 99% of them, and then the 1% that stand out are the guys that shouldn't be walking the streets probably, or they're just so angry. I don't know. It's the 1%. It's always the 1% that gives you a bad taste. But then you got this audience that's sitting here letting us run our mouths. Let me catch up on some of these chats here, so I'm not shutting you guys out because I know y'all want to ask some questions. What's up, Motard Squid? Ricardo. I hope I fixed the audio, y'all. I'm sorry about that. I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Turn up sound, old fella. It's not Jim. It was me. I have the controls on Jim. So, hey Don, Jim, good to see you. Both going great. Justified meeting Jim in NF. Oh, Newfoundland in June. Left. So you met a guy named Tyler in Newfoundland, Jim? He left on a summer trip 3 days before I got. Oh, so you were up there and you just missed him. Jim is still in Arkansas. That is his host, Johnny, sitting next to him. What's up, everyone? What's up, Solon? Oh, you watch Jim. Cool. That's where we met. Yeah, John, that's right. We met at one of Z's rallies. I guess that's what you're talking about. Has Jim changed his current plan route? Oh yeah. You just said that. You've changed your route maybe a couple times now, haven't you?
A couple of times, and I'm going to try to stay off interstates as much as possible. I've got a rough route lined up now. It will take me as straight as possible from here to Pennsylvania and then north, from the looks of it.
Okay. Tyler is the guy that tried to find you up in Newfoundland. Tyler Hunter is saying, tell us non-techies how and where to send money to help Jim get home to Canada. The link is below. There's two extra links in this live stream. One link is to his channel. You can find his video there if you can't understand how to click my link, but my link is to his coffee page. And you got to sign up. It may be a little bit technical for some of you non-techies, but just keep going. And you can drop in $5. If you got a Google account and you've signed up, that's how I did it. I'm trying to remember. I had some trouble doing it the other way, but I just used my Google thing, and it just click here, and then it's should be easier than you think.
Yeah. First time I've used that or tried using an outside funding source. So it's like, it was relatively easy for me to set up, but that's not normally if I'm helping someone else. It's usually like an e-transfer or something like that. Sometimes a GoFundMe page.
Well, the problem I've always had is I've always used these small credit unions that don't interface with technology, so it's really hard for me to do anything else. But if I got a debit card, I can send money, and that's what I like about Buy Me a Coffee, because it's real easy. They're not political. They're not insane people, and they take a real small chunk out of especially a credit card transaction. You go into the gas station and buy you some goodies, they're taking 2%. It's ridiculously small, and it's fine with me. Unlike Google, that's why we don't do super chats on live streams, is because Google, you say, hey, y'all send me a super chat, send me $10, and Google takes half. And I'm like, screw that, screw Google, and it's like, hey, these guys are trying to hook a brother up, and so I don't do super chats. 2% I can deal with. Armadillo. What is that, dude? I don't know what that means. Ogana Bikes, Buy Me a Coffee page. Yeah, Bruce is trying to explain it. It's in the description. Below in the description. And if y'all are getting here late, or if you're watching the stream afterwards, the link is in the description to his channel. I would suggest going over there and see how this thing unfolds. So the only way to do that is to hit that subscribe button. When you click on the link, go over there. A Euro would be awesome. I agree. Sidecar.
Tyler, I'm glad you're getting out more now that you've got a pension coming in. It's much easier to travel when you're not working.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sidecar build, a camper on it, and lose the trailer. Yeah, when you add that third wheel, it riding a motorcycle loses it's a profound dimension, and some people either don't get it or they will never get it.
Yeah.
Riding a motorcycle is about leaning to me, and it's probably the same way to you too, Jim. And I would imagine, Johnny, I don't know, do you see yourself ever getting in a sidecar or a trike or a spider? Is that your thing?
No.
No?
Sidecar only. I'll bolt a sidecar on my old Harley. When
And
some
easy.
days I can't hold it up.
Yeah.
But then I can take my sidecar, go to the store, and put my
Right.
groceries in my sidecar, and hobble in, hobble out,
Right.
and my old Harley is going to stay with me till my kids probably sell it off.
Yeah, I don't love a mini Harleys, but Johnny's got one of the few Harleys that I love. I love the way it sounds. I love the way it looks. He services it. How many miles you got on that thing?
Oh, I just rolled over 191,000.
Is that all? Just 191,000? Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that bike. And you ride the hell out of it. So Jim can't keep a bike. He keeps crashing them.
Oh, I had the ST for 17 years.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. How many miles do you have
And
on that?
the
Or,
and the
I'm sorry.
CB750 before that, I had for close to 12. And the
wow.
BMW I had before that, I ran that for over 15 years.
What
So
BMW did you have?
about 15 years is my average on a bike.
Yeah, you wear them out like I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get rid of them when they're.
Mhm.
What BMW did you have, Jim?
I had an R75/5. It had
The classic
nice-
R75.
it had a Windjammer knockoff fairing and Krauser bags on it. I was 19,
Yep.
and it's like I want to travel long distance, and it's like, all right, this is what I want.
So that was
Whereas
your
everyone
second
else
bike?
wanted something. Well, it was the third. I got my license on a Honda 50 Cub
Yeah.
scooter.
Yeah.
Bought a 175 the next summer, and before that summer was over, I had a 350, and the year after that, I got the BMW.
Because you read it in a magazine that it's the most awesome motorcycle ever.
Oh, look, I had really good mentors,
Really?
and
Okay.
they steered me towards the Beamer.
Yeah.
And I can remember, at 19, having this old man's motorcycle,
Yeah.
and some of the local guys were going, "Want to race?" And of course, the hottest bike in town was a Cowie 900.
Ah, yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, sure, I'll race." Now I was living in Fredericton, New Brunswick. I said, "I'll race you to Montreal International Airport and back."
Ah,
So an 800 miles each way,
wow.
and we'll leave at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And the guy looked at me and went, "I can't do that." I said, "I know you can't."
That's a hell of a race.
So they never tried to race me after that.
That's great.
Because they knew I was going for distance, not for speed.
Yeah. That's great.
You know.
That's a great story. I'm gonna have to, there's a bunch of clips in here that I'm gonna have to recycle into, because I think they need to. Not everybody's gonna sit down and watch how long are we into this? We're into this over an hour. Yeah, nobody's gonna watch. Well, there's not a lot of people that'll watch an hour-long stream. But what they miss out on is all this gold that's in there. You know, the dead man video.
That's worth a video by itself.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
Explaining why and when.
Exactly. If you see the video going, "Hey, I'm dead," guess what?
Yep.
You're probably dead, or at least incapacitated. I'm on a feeding tube in a hospital somewhere. Odds are you're never going to see another video from me. Thanks for the views. Good hanging out with y'all, and yeah. I think that's.
Thanks for the memories.
I wonder if anybody's done it. I don't even know what to search for, because I call it a dead man switch video, because it kind of makes more sense. It's like, oh, if I don't turn this off, it's gonna go out in a few months, and I don't know.
I like the switch. I like the switch. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's cement that into the nomenclature somehow. Let's figure out how to do that and go, "Hey, look, This is what's coming. I wasn't going to announce it, but now that you said it, I was like, oh, this could be a real thing. Why doesn't everybody do that? Why does it, especially when you start getting older, or you're doing risky behaviors like riding your motorcycle around 2 different countries, that's kind of dangerous stuff, and you never know, is you're going to wind up in a ditch somewhere. Or my fear is, like we did the TAT last year, there was a few sections that we didn't see another soul for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you run out of gas out there, yeah, you have a flat tire, or you go out on an adventure with a leg that you can't walk more than a mile. You can't walk. Your motorcycle's broken. You got one leg, or you don't have enough water. So you had that experience with Utah. It's like, try walking 5 miles in Utah with no water. Try it.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Now, there's one good thing about the tent trailer. I've got a cooler with lots of water and ice in it, and I was able to hydrate plus soak myself with ice water when it was really, really hot.
I'm just wondering.
Actually, my hottest day was North Dakota. I ran a day that was 108, 110 Fahrenheit, and it was acceptable because I was able to keep myself so cooled down.
Right.
I would not have wanted to have done it without that cooler, I'll tell you.
Right. Well, I think we've talked about the trailer thing for many, many times. I don't know that I can ever do a mini make because that's a heavy trailer, but I like the idea of an ultralight single wheel trailer to get the weight off of my motorcycle and let me do my thing, and then just worry about the stuff that's behind me at some point. And the more I think about it, the more I think, I could have a real motorcycle with no crap on it and just be pulling all my gear behind me, and just worry about it when I'm stopping and when I'm turning and things like that, instead of going, I got to keep this thing upright through this nasty trails. Everything's changed for me now because I can barely pick a bike up. I can't pick a bike up now, and I can't get my leg over the seat now, and there's all kinds of things that have changed for me. So it's I got to rethink strategies. All right, what do y'all got questions for Jim? I know y'all got questions. Let me see where we're at. Your all would be cool. Sidecar. If Jim's luck doesn't change, he'll be on the road in time to be hit by the inline. No, I think he's gonna beat the hurricane because it looks like through the weekend.
And Milton is going to be heading a bit more along the coast. Like, I'll stay inland if I have to.
Yeah, everything. I mean, I'm further east than you are by several hours, and my forecast through Sunday looks nice and sunny and cool. So you should have some nice 80 degrees and lower riding. So it should be really nice for you. I've been traveling more now than before the pensions came in. Did try a lone spider. It was more like riding a snowmobile. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying, Tyler. There's just no. I don't get it. I guess I don't get it. I've ridden them before. I
think they really work well for people who have not been on a motorcycle a lot. It's for older people who want to get the idea of a motorcycle, but they don't like the idea of having to balance it and have 2 wheels. I've ran into a lot of people who really enjoy their spiders.
Sure.
And it's a different type of ride. I think those of us who have spent 50 years on 2 wheels, it's a really big change. And I know if I go to a sidecar, I know that's going to be a big change, but it's going to be a cool big change.
Well, the great thing about a sidecar, you can fly a sidecar. Can you not?
Yes.
I've done it. And it's like, that's kind of cool. It's like, hey, check this out. Especially if you got a passenger in there. It takes a little bit more work, but, that's cool. Can you fly a freaking spider? Can you put a wheel in the air on the Spider. Nah. Can
No,
you?
you don't want to.
And if you do that on a Harley trike, you're probably going to be. It's probably while you're rolling into the ditch. So yeah.
Now, here's something funny. I've got a subscriber down in Texas who's got a Ural rig sidecar, and he is hauling a Mini Mate.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
What's he
Now,
got in
he
the
does-
sidecar?
His dog.
Wow.
But no, he's really strictly, secondary roads, county roads.
Right.
Uh,
He has no
he-
choice. Those was it topping
Well,
out like
he-
52?
well, they can do about 65 max.
Really?
I don't know if hauling a Mini Mate they can do 65, but they can do about 65. But no, he's just back roads, and he'll go just about anywhere. Like he'll certainly pull that Mini Mate into places where I won't dare, because I won't dare go on dirt. And of
Right.
course, if he gets into dirt, he can go into 2-wheel drive in the back,
Right.
and it makes it that much easier to haul.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to what the next 10 years are going to bring.
Sure.
Sure, lots of adventure.
So I think we talked briefly before we started the stream about the people that are telling you need to stop, and you need to take a hint, Jim. You need to take a hint, and you need to go give up motorcycles. You need to, okay, try whatever. I think those are the people that, for the most part, I think most of the people that say trike, Spider, they have good heart, good they're well-meaning, but
Yeah.
But when you hear the people that's just like you're over the hill, Jim. You need to take a hint from Mother Nature is telling you need to try something. Go sit, go do shuffleboard. Go before you break your hip. You need to go find your retirement home. Go find you whatever. What do you say to those guys?
Well, for the most part, it's like, no, I'm not ready for that. I will know when I'm ready, but it won't be a trike or a Spider. And no, I'm not going to go to public transportation. That was the best comment in the last little while. Was
public transportation, really?
Yes, you should get off the road and go. That's like no. It's like how old are you?
Right.
How many miles a year do you ride a motorcycle?
Yes.
How long have you been riding a motorcycle?
Did you actually reply to that in that manner, or you just?
I replied to him just said, no, I am not going to be taking public transportation, and I'm not giving up motorcycling.
Right.
At least not for the foreseeable future.
Right.
But no, it's like, we all have to judge how we feel about things and how we feel about ourselves. Now, when my back was hurting the worst, and it was really, really tough getting on and off the bike, it was good to have that backrest on the Goldwing.
Sure.
It helped.
Yeah.
But there was at no point, as much as it hurt getting on and off the bike and riding, there was at no point that I went, I think it's time to give it up. No, it's not yet. Right. And as I said, like every tip over and accident I've had this year, the circumstances were different. Now, I'm getting used to a new bike. I have to keep remembering that. When I left on this trip, I only had 1,000 kilometers riding on it. The brakes, it's not an ABS bike.
Right.
Whereas the ST1300 was, and I probably used the ABS more than I thought.
Right.
So I'm still on a learning curve, but I'm now 17,000 kilometers into this trip, over 10,000 miles, and the bike is feeling more comfortable for me, et cetera, et cetera. When I left Newfoundland, if I had lost my back brakes, I think I would have stopped.
Sure.
But but well, I'm also freaking stubborn. So it's like, okay, I know I've got a problem, uh, but I have to get somewhere where I can fix it. And that's
Sure.
the great thing about Johnny
Right.
offering his spot, his place here. And come when I get back on the road, the bike will be in fine operating shape. It's, and my back is feeling much better. Mentally, I'm feeling rested. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a cold ride back the
Sure.
last, week of it for sure. But I'm still going to enjoy it. No.
Of course. Well, not just
Yeah.
that, but you're headed home, and
Yeah.
to me, the heading home was always like, I've accomplished it, everything's going okay, but that's always that bittersweet thing. How do you overcome that bittersweet where I know you got to have it. You've got to have that, man. The adventure's coming to an end. I got the winter coming up. It's gonna suck. And is there some? Can you give us some advice to how you that the last few thousand miles where you're like, this sucks. I'm not stopping. I'm not enjoying the trip back. It's just I gotta drive.
I think I will still enjoy it because I'll be seeing places I know well.
Okay.
Now, in the last 3 days going back, I'll be stopping in and seeing friends each night on the way through. So that's always good.
Yeah.
And when the trip ends, I've got 12 terabytes of video to edit all
Okay.
winter, and
Yeah.
I'll be revisiting the whole trip as I post it. And I think that feels, that's a really good part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got my notes from the trip. I've got all the video. I will have different thoughts on certain aspects of the trip. I might look at me going down in Maine and going, "Holy fuck, why'd I keep on going?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You were so close to
uh,
home up there. You could have turned around.
I could have just turned around. I'm 3 days away. Yeah. Uh, but part of it is I'm stubborn. I wanted to do something, and the trip was important. And getting home will be good, and then settling in for the winter and trying to figure out what are my plans for next year. Where do I really want to go, or what do I want to do? And that'll be part of a couple of planning videos. Um, and it's just breaking down in my head as to what happened on this trip,
Right.
what were the really good highlights, and what were the low points. And even my lowest points so far have just been a different part of adventure,
Right.
except maybe sitting in Cedar City after about 4 days.
Yeah. That should suck.
Yeah.
Well, the question in my mind is, if you knew what was going to happen in Maine, or you had this whole flash, you had the vision of what was to come of this trip, would you have turned around and went back now? Or would you have
Nope.
tried it on? Well, now you've conquered, though. You have, let's just say you knew what was coming, and you still can have both your legs, all your limbs. You still have all that stuff. So, but if somebody said, I'm not going to give you a bunch of details, but you're going to crash 3 times and you're going to do this and you're going to do that, would you have gone, maybe I should make it next summer? Maybe let's just postpone this trip. No?
No. Now the year before, when I wiped out the ST1300, I knew 2 seconds after looking at it that the trip was over. There was no way that I could continue the trip.
Right.
Just too much damage to the bike.
Right.
And then my logistics were okay. How do I get this back to Newfoundland, or do I not take it back to Newfoundland because I'm not going to repair it?
Right.
Now this time I had a very fleeting thought as I went down in Maine and that water was rushing over me. I was having a thought, oh shit, this is going to be the same thing as last year. But as soon as we got the bike up and the trailer up, and I saw there was no damage, I wasn't hurt, the jacket was, as soon as we got the trailer hooked back up again, All but one light worked on it, and I knew I just damaged one camera. I just went, well, we're just going to keep going. There's just no way
Onward.
we're not going.
Onward,
Yep.
let's go. Adventure
Yep.
awaits. That's funny, man. That's funny. Well, so what would you tell all the youngsters, the people that haven't had their adventure yet, or the people that are our age that are waiting, that just retired or getting ready to retire, that are going, man, I don't know, the fear, the I don't want to wind up like Jim. What would you tell those guys?
Well, the biggest thing is to not let those fears take over, and start off small. Start off with a weekend trip, a 1 week trip. Don't suddenly decide, I'm going to Alaska. I just bought a brand new bike. I'm going to Alaska. Don't do that.
How many people have done that? There's been a lot.
Yeah,
Johnny,
been a
did
lot.
you know what the hell you were doing when you went to Alaska?
Yeah.
You knew exactly
Yeah, I
what you were
did.
doing. You knew exactly what to expect.
Until I hit Canada. That was a whole waking up up there. But I had done the research on it for a good year
Okay.
before
All right.
I left to get into Canada. And I highly recommend, if you go to Canada, you need to know what you're doing and take more than one credit card. You'll get up there, you'll get in a place for 2, 3, 4, 5 days where there's no cell signal.
Right.
Your credit card will be cut off, or debit card will be cut off for whatever reason.
Right.
And you don't know it. So you pull in this middle of this nowhere, try to use your card, and you can't get gas. And so it can throw you in a real bad bind really quick.
Yeah.
Until you can, get on the phone with them wherever you are, pay them to use their phone to get your credit cards turned back on. So take more than one credit card. I've run 5.
Yeah.
And one credit card, one debit card got shut off, but I was still okay. Once I hit Alaska, now you got went to Tok, so they've got cell phone signal there, and it was easy to get the computer going, get it turned back on again. But going through Yukon, that's where you need to be on your toes with a good motorcycle, good riding abilities, and more than one credit card.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We probably need to do a follow up.
Carry more cash than you would normally carry. Like
that's
I found here in the States, like in Canada, I don't carry much in the way of cash, but in the States, I try to always, have at least $100 cash on me.
Yeah.
Because there are places where they're isolated enough that you don't cash is still king. And the other thing is, once you get to half a tank of gas, down to half a tank of gas, you start looking to fill up soon afterwards, because you can run into some stretches where it is forever.
Right.
And so don't count on there being gas within your tank range.
Yeah, it sucks to push a bike. It sucks.
Yeah.
Especially
it
a big
really does
800-pound gold wing.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, the funny thing about Canada that I remember is, the exchange rates, it's kind of about the same, pretty close, but you get so many more liters of gas than you can gallons. It's just amazing. You can get all those liters, and you can get just a few gallons. So it's like, wow, it's value, right?
Well, right now, the exchange rate is about 30% in favor of the American dollar.
Is it really? I didn't know that.
For every American dollar, it's costing me about $1.35 Canadian.
Huh.
Now, in 2008, when I went across the continent, it was just about at par.
Yeah.
So that was a really cheap run for me.
Yeah.
But this has not. The equivalency has been bad. So anyone from the U.S. who visited Canada last summer or is planning to next summer, your dollar is going to go a lot further than you think.
Now's the time, huh?
Yep.
Well, let me see if we got some missing chats up here. Jim's luck doesn't change. He'll be on the road in time to hit the inland yeah, okay, we've already read that. Adventuring does find us on bikes whether we want it or not, eh? Yes, Tyler.
Yeah.
I'm Jim's age, and I've been traveling more now than before the pension came in. Did try a lone spider. It was more like riding a snowmobile. Damn, I'm okay. I'm way behind here. Don't worry about how long the live stream is. You guys are my most favorites, even over the cute Dutch girl. Oh, thanks, Tyler.
Woohoo!
He's complimenting both of us, Jim. I don't know. He may even
Yeah.
be hitting up on you, Johnny. I don't know. GunTuber Paul Harrell had cancer. He made a farewell video that was released after his death, before he died. I haven't seen that. I knew he died, but I haven't seen his farewell video. Before he died, GunTubers rallied with a campaign to get Paul over 1 million subscribers. Yeah, I was barely aware of him. I can't remember what it was. I saw something about him. Anyway, yeah, that's kind of interesting. I'm going to go back and look him up. Tell Jim when I was it never went below 29°C on the coast, and I was there over a month.
That's good weather in Newfoundland. That's good weather.
Yeah. It's not how you should be using public transport, but why? Cause a lot of us live where the buses don't run. Live where the buses don't run. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Tyler. Yeah, it sounds like Tyler maybe is up in your area. At least he's trying to hunt you down up there in Newfoundland. That's cool. Any other comments before we turn this thing into something else? What do y'all want to say? The thing that you learned, Jim. The most important lesson that you learned on this trip, because this is a pretty epic trip. It may not be the one that's on the postcard, but it's an epic trip.
Patience.
Patience?
I think patience is the thing that I really have learned the most. It's like there's some things you cannot fix.
That's a tough one for me.
Yeah. That's the biggest thing. Patience, and also the fact that there's a lot more community out there that I can count on than I was realizing, because I'm very independent and I'm very stubborn. So it's been a little humbling, actually, with the amount of help I've had along the way.
Yep. Well, that's immediately it was like, man, all the people that helped me with my leg and all the support that I got while I was recovering in the hospital, I was like, this is a no-brainer. Jim needs some help, man. Let's the link is down below, and if you can't click links and all that's it's Old Guy on a Bike. If you just type in Old Guy on a Bike in the YouTube search window, you will find Jim's channel. He will have a link there in his video. There's links below to his channel and the coffee page. Throw in $5, $10, $20. Don't make it hurt. Just anything. I'm sure Jim would be fine with 50 cents. What'd you say, Jim?
Anything helps.
Yeah, anything, man. Look, man, I was my last trip back. This last trip home, I had my wallet full. I'd been up there working, but the last trip from the TAT last year, coming back, I was like, man, I hope this tire makes it back, because I don't think I had $200 in my checking account to pay for. Because I was like, I got enough gas to get me home. I cannot eat on the way home, but I gotta have gas, and I gotta have rubber on the tires, and that's what I was thinking. I think I scrolled in for like $85 in my checking account, and I was like, wow, I made it. Unbelievable. And that's where Jim's at now. He's wondering if he's going to make it back before he gets covered in snow. So y'all go help the dude out, man. He's a great guy, and he's got a great YouTube channel. Go over there and hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet, and tell him who sent you. I think that would be pretty cool.
Please do.
Hey,
Please do.
Moto Giant. I saw you on Moto Giant, and I haven't seen your stuff yet. And go throw him some bucks, man. Get the guy home. Look at him. He's terrible. He's just crying. You can see he's been crying for the last week or so. Beer.
Actually, I've had a lot of stress taken off being able to stay here with Johnny and Betty, and we're getting the stuff done on the bike.
Yeah, and if y'all are, I guess, on the eastern side of the United States, and maybe there's, just reach out on his channel, hit one of his videos, and go, hey man, I got garage, I got tools, I got whatever. If he can help out that way, that would be awesome.
I'm hoping I don't need any more tools on the way home.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe a place to stay, because hotels are expensive, right? You're finding out.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Good to see you guys.
All right.
You too, Don.
Thanks
Good
for
night,
hanging
all.
out, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
Good talking to y'all.
We got a Colorado trip next spring.
Whee! I'm back on two wheels soon. I'll see you guys.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Later.